it's the Sackville Street building. But did you know there were some other buildings before this? In front of your very eyes, on these amazing doors, which I'll point out, I'll tell you that in a minute. But if you look from left to right, you'll see a series of etchings. Can you see the etchings? Of course. Yeah, can you see them here? Now, this started as the Mechanics Institute. And the Mechanics Institute was something which was begun ostensibly to help people get into the mode of self-help. It wasn't originally intended to help adults read and write. It was intended to help adults get to know their job better than they did, to enable them to better themselves. And in 1824, there were a group of men who met in the Mechanics' Arms, which was a pub on Piccadilly. They met in a back room there, and they decided that they should get together and form a group. So they formed the Mechanics Institute. And there were some very illustrious members. Among them was John Dalton. And 11 of those men gave a sum of money, £613.15, to fund this organisation. And as I say, Manchester at that time, you've got to remember that Manchester was Cottonopolis. And where we are, this area in particular, was full of mills, engineering works, dye works. It was pretty awful. You wouldn't have wanted to live in Manchester in those days. Originally, after a short space of time, that folded and they came back to the Mechanics Institute, by which time they decided that, yeah, they were going to make a real go of it, and they acquired another building. They acquired anybody recognise that? No, you won't, isn't it? Cooper Street. Behind the town hall, there's a small sign that just says Cooper Street. There's no actual buildings still on Cooper Street. From Cooper Street, for various reasons, not big enough, wanting to formalise the whole situation, they then moved on to this building that you'll recognise. Princess Street. Yeah, obviously the old building is where the first TUC meeting was held. The first Worldwide Trade Union Congress meeting was held. This is now the archives of the People's History Museum. And this building was acquired. For the opening ceremony in 1857, they had a great exhibition. Now, we'd already had in 1851 a great exhibition, so they decided that to open this and to let people know how prestigious it was going to be, how good it was going to be, they needed to have a similar exhibition. They had treasures brought in from all over the place. They had fountains inside, they had in the entrance room set up with treasures, artistic treasures, sculpture, the whole works. We move along now. In 1902, this building was built. It was built on land which did belong to Sir Joseph Whitworth, and he'd left the land in his will. His legatees donated the land, plus a sum of money of £13,000 to build the building and to furnish it, give it some equipment to start up. And I didn't draw your attention to it on the way in, but as you go out, the plaque on the right-hand side, which you will walk past hundreds of times and never noticed, tells you about the legatees, the site of the building and the amount that was given. On the left-hand side, that plaque tells you about how it was. The Manchester Technical School, that was its name, and it was funded in part by the City Council, and it was opened by A. Lloyd, who was the Lord Mayor at the time. So you're in a very illustrious building, and you think that John Dalton was one of the founder members, and you think, John Dalton here. John Dalton was one of the founder members of the Mechanics Institute, and he was known as the father of